Good evening, all. And it's light. No lights on. Welcome to another live stream. Hope everyone is well on this Thursday. Yes, thank you, Dave. Yeah, we're running a poll tonight. I watched a clip that came through on my stream, and it's got John Bon Jovi singing, and oh, is he painful? I love John Bon Jovi, but I think he should hang his boots up. So that's the poll tonight. Should John Bon Jovi hang his boots up gracefully? Anyway, hope everyone is well. We're doing fine here. Rocky is about somewhere. He's just been sorted out. Just poured myself a beer, and tonight I'm on this. It's called from Brewdog, the Project D, and it's donut beer. Two of my favourite things, donuts and beer. Cat's claws on backwood style. Oh. Anyway, what have you been watching this week? Well, it's been a bank holiday in the UK, and good evening, Mick. So people tend to do other things over the bank holiday. So we've only had 1,096 viewers, 7 subscribers. Good evening, Alan. So what you've been watching? So we've got a 4th place this week. Hawkwind studio albums at 34. Equal second, we have Grand Funk Railroad and the live stream from last week at 42. And a surprise number 1. Now, I didn't think I'd get many people wanting to watch this. The Depeche Mode that we did for Charles, who said it was pretty good. So that was interesting. And we picked up 7 subscribers this week, which isn't too bad for a bank holiday. 28 days. Figures are 5,667. Still at number 1 is the live stream from the 7th of April at 231. The Beatles have overcrept the Stones at 180, and coming in third are Rolling Stones at 156. Now this is the year. This is the year's viewing. 78,820. 441 subscribers. Not bad for her first year. But still, it's Jethro Tull, Sojourner Singing at 3,300. Jethro Tull's studio albums are 403. And Quo still out in front at 5,320. Well, as we know, as you all must know now, that next Saturday is R.T.O's birthday. Yes, I did see your comment, Dave. Yeah, so next week's programs, shows, episodes, videos, whatever you want to call it, it's all about my music, what I like, what influences me. So next Monday, I'll be doing an album ranking of one of my favourite bands of all time, the brilliant Led Zeppelin. Classic album review next week is part 2 of the Eric Clapton, and it happens to be one of my favourite blues albums. Coincidental. And that's, of course, Bluesbreakers with Eric Clapton, John Mayall and the Bluesbreakers. Good album. Tuesday's album ranking is a band called Hard Rain. Now, Hard Rain are Tony Clark and Bob Catley from Magnum, who happen to be one of my favourite bands. And they put out a couple of albums as Hard Rain. So we will be looking at those. Now, retro ranking next week. It's a status quo one. Status Quo started off the channel, so I couldn't go this week without doing something. Status Quo. So on Retro Ranking, we're going to look at the status quo non-album singles. I couldn't do a week without the quote, so that's our quote for next week. Wednesday's Marathon Wednesday is another one of my favourite bands. It's one we discussed the other week. Yes, we're doing Pink Floyd. Doing the discography of Pink Floyd. Another band that I love. Then Thursday, well, we had the first battle of the debuts today. Saxon versus Iron Maiden, and Dave has just informed me that everyone agrees with me that the Iron Maiden album is better, but I will give you the results of that next week. There will be no live stream next Thursday night for obvious reasons, and you'll find out in a minute, but I will do a little weekly update for this sort of thing. Then next Friday, live albums. We're doing another of my favourite bands. We've covered them, some of the live albums, but someone pointed out I didn't cover another one, and I said we'll do it another time, and that time is now. We're going to look at the live albums of Marillion that were released through the Racket records. I've not got them all because there's loads. I've got 18, I think. So it's the Marillion My Racket Club collection. And then next Friday is this tribute show. Last weekend we lost another musician. We lost Rick Parnell. Now, Rick Parnell was drummer of Atomic Rooster, of course, but he really will claim his claim to fame that he was in the brilliant movie This Is Spinal Tap, where he played Mick Shrimpton, the drummer at the end that exploded. So we are going to have a look at This Is Spinal Tap, which is a great album, some great rockers, and it's a very funny film. Absolutely one of my favourite films of all time. So that's what's happening next week. And then Saturday from 8 p.m. we're going to have the live stream birthday bash, because Saturday is actually the 14th was the first time I put something live on YouTube. So Q&A, bring a beer, and we'll just have a bit of fun. It's unscripted. I might tell you the top 10 most watched videos in the channel, but that is it. Everything else is unscripted. Anything can happen. It's cut final day as well, and I might have two of my friends round here. I don't know if they'll stay and sort of be part of that, but I'm hoping they will. I haven't told them yet, but I'm sure we'll have some fun. So, Rocky, yeah, is about, Charles. I'm glad you enjoyed the Depeche Mode. I'm still listening to some of them. Now I've done the ranking, because I just think that some of them may be a bit better. Like that when you said Violator, it's a damn good album, but I preferred the other ones. Who knows? But I really enjoyed doing that one. So what else have I been listening to this week that you've been asking for? Well, we're getting on with the budgie. We've got 7 of the 15 have been listened to. I've listened to 2 of the Fanny albums now. Actually listened to some Fanny today. I've listened to 8 of the 17 of the Waterboys. That's coming on along nicely. I've listened to 1 of Rick Wakeman's 1970 albums, and I'm sure everyone will know which one I've listened to. I've listened to one of the Police albums this week, one of Captain Beefheart's, one of Boston's. Now, someone on the channel has actually asked for Venom. Now, I don't know much about Venom because I weren't really into them, but I've listened to one of their albums this week and it sounds very much like Motorhead. I've listened to another Chrome album. That's interesting. 4 out of the 7 of the Alice Cooper. Yes, Alan. Yeah, what did I do on my vacation? It's a pretty good album as well. Yeah, 4 of the 7 of the Alice Cooper band, not Alice Cooper solo. 11 of the 14 of U2. 6 out of the 10 of Dio's. Albums that are completed now. They're ready to go when I can fit them in. Stone Roses, I've listened to their 2 albums and their compilation. Shakespeare's Sisters, ready to go. Pat Benatar and Tears for Fears. So what's been added to the book now are the Allman Brothers, Government Mule, Cooler Shaker, Skunk Ananice and J. Kyle's Band and Styx, and Gong. Now, someone asked for Gong this week, so I've been looking at their catalogue. There is so many versions of it and variants. So what I'm going to do with Gong, I'm going to do like we've done the history of. I'm going to have to split it in because there's so many sidekicks and all sorts of Gong. So that's going to take a little while to sort out, but Gong is now on the list. So what else is happening next week? Well, I'm actually doing a show with Richard McCook next Saturday. Kiss, yes. That'll go. I'll put that on the list. That's sort of on the list as one of the marathon ones. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I was saying I'm going to be doing a show with Richard McCook from the vinyl community, and we're going to be talking about our favourite singles by Nicky Chin and Mike Chapman. So we're doing that on Saturday. So it'll go up on his channel, and what I will do, I will try and get it onto this channel so you don't miss out. No Wallies of the week again. Everyone's being kind. So there's no Wallies of the week. Yeah, I'm just going through the things now. Yeah, Dave, I've seen that from Peter Brickley. It sort of falls into what we're doing, but because that's a strange one, because you've got UFO. Michael Schenker didn't come into UFO till, so I think I can do that, the first Michael Schenker and first UFO. A Brewdog, yeah, might sound better. It's not that strong, this one, I don't think. The one I picked first was 6%, so I put that back for another day. Oh dear. Didn't read that one because that's 6% as well. Now we're supposed to taste of donuts. Hang on. Well, they must have had the brew here and the donut somewhere over here, because it doesn't taste nothing like a donut. It's quite nice, actually. Yeah, so what we got with Alan pointed out, we have got Ian Gillan compilation album. We've also got Prisoners of Paradise, Europe, one of my favourite album covers of all time. Up here we've got some Dr. Feelgood. Oh, well, good evening, Joe. Yeah, a bit of Brewdog, can't go wrong. Bit of Down by the Jetty, Dr. Feelgood. Bit of Gary Moore, which we're doing him next week. Over here, got one of Dave's favourite bands, Sky. And in the sunshine up there is Tin Machine, which is one of David Bowie's offshoots, which are a pretty good band. Yeah, I've started listening to Police Joe today. Listen to the first thing. Looks like his Nibs is making his presence. What can I do for you? Oh, dearie me. Oh. I think he knows now. He's starting to know. He's not daft. Has to come and say hello to the world, don't you, Rock? He had his hair. He had his haircut this week. And a haircut and a wash. Yeah, Tin Machine's great. I've got all the Tin. I've got both Tin Machine albums and the live album. The live album is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I've sort of made a note of yours, Joe, and see where mine come up. Lovely to see you holding up a fantastic album by Mark Oldfield today. Bit of Tubular Bells. I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know, Joe. What was I saying about Mike Oldfield? Yeah, I have done a Mike Oldfield, Joe. It's in there somewhere. Yeah, no problem, Ralph. I enjoy doing that one because I don't know. I think it must be obvious. It's probably my favourite band of that time. It's the one I really loved when I was growing up. Still playing today. I don't know what my neighbours thought last Saturday, because last Saturday I put a playlist together in Spotify of the songs that I'll be looking at, and I put that on rather loud, especially during Blockbuster. I absolutely adore that song. Oh, yes. He wasn't on the little video this morning because he was still in bed, the lazy boy. Oh, dear. I don't know. I'm going to have to put you down. You're a bit all right. You can stay there. If you want to stay there, you can. Yeah, I don't think there's any much more I can do on Mike Oldfield. Yeah, you're right, Dave. I'm sure he knows. I think he's getting used to this now. And I do tell him he's got fans out there. Yeah, probably right, Charles. Saving his energy. But he seems quite content at the moment. Oh, I'll sit there then. There's nothing there for you. He's trying to sniff out stuff. Anyway, how many people have said about let's have a look. So I don't want to the poll. He'll be all right. Yeah, the reason I chose this John Bon Jovi, there was a clip on YouTube. He was singing Wanted Dead or Alive. The poor man's flat as a pancake. And I'm not saying that in a horrible way, because, I mean, I've seen John Bon Jovi a few times. But I personally think he should give up. I watched the thing. I also watched Justin Hawkins, The Darkness He Deserved thing. And he was saying, I like listening to him because he's quite truthful. And, you know, even he said about that he's changed keys Yeah, have you seen it, Mick? If you've the one I've seen, it's the one to watch is Houston, We Have a Problem, because there's a young lady on there. Obviously, she's a devoted fan. She says he sounds brilliant. So I mean, I put a comment I just said about, you know, been a fan a long time, and I'm saying this with like a heavy heart. But one bloke laid into her and told her that she's delusional. But there's a lot of singers that I used to like that I don't think should be singing anymore. One of them, I'm horrible to say, and that's David Coverdale. He can't hit the notes. Yeah, Mick, you're right. Vince Neil. He makes Vince Neil sound like an angel. It's amazing, though, talking about singers like that. I was talking to my friend Lee today, and I think it's how they look after the voice. And there's singers out there that have really looked after their voices. One example is Biff Byford of Saxon. Another guy, Danny Bowles from Thunder. Talking to Thunder, if you're a Thunder fan, tomorrow is listening to I've got a review of the new album, and I've listened to that about 6 times this week, and the more I hear it, the more I love it. So that's on tomorrow. That's the album review for tomorrow. Yeah, you're right. Paul Rodgers sounds good still. See, there's one singer that doesn't, as his voice has gone, and that's Ian Gillan. But what Ian's done and Deep Purple, they've really thought about this, and they've changed all the songs down. Spot on, Joe. John Anderson, considering he sings very high. Jeff Lynne, yeah, absolutely right, Joe. Some great singers out there. But there are some singers that just can't do it anymore. Steven Tyler of Aerosmith, I think's like it. Dave Lee Roth, his voice is terrible now. I mean, if you listen to the last album they made, I think his voice was absolutely shot. Yeah, Thunder are knocking them out, Alan. Have you heard the new album? I mean, Thunder was my top album of 2021. It could be again this year at this rate. I just think it's probably the best album. I'm not going to go too into much because it'll spoil tomorrow's video, but yeah, it is. It's a tremendous album. That's a band that have never really put a bad album out. I think I might have to do a Thunder revisit at some stage because I ranked them about June time of last year, so might do a re-ranking of that one because I need to. Another album that's come out today, well, I saw it being reviewed on SOT. I'm just going to see if it is on SOT yet. So I'm going to just bring up my Spotify. I'm still... Ooh, that's Sky Gone for a Burton. Let's just have a look, see if it is in there. Just bear with me, folks. If it's been put up on there yet. Not on Spotify yet, but I'm sure I'll find it. There's a recording, a live album. I don't know if it's only in America. It's recorded at the Fillmore West in 1970. Yes, I remember Terror Plane, Alan. If you look down the list of videos, you'll find a Terror Plane review. Dave, have a look when I did Terraplane. I may have done that a couple of weeks before, but I know they're there. Look at Paul Roll's Sky 2. My opinion on XTC, there is a video on XTC out, Charles. Love the band. Love XTC. Yeah, love XTC. Oh, I've also listened to that, I forgot to say. I listened to some Killing Joke, because someone's asked for Killing Joke. So listening to Killing Joke as well. I forgot I didn't add that to the list. To be quite honest, I listened to their debut album today, because I do like that album. Yeah, got some good bands coming up on live ranking the next few weeks. UFO. We're going to do UFO. I think that's coming up soon. Another one of my favourite bands. I actually listened to a modern U2 album that I actually like, which is unusual for me. Yeah, Diamond, we're going to do some Diamond Hand live, Gentle Giant live albums as well. I know Joe's a big fan of Gentle Giant, so definitely be doing some Gentle Giant live, and Grand Funk Railroad. Yeah, Neville McDonald. I've met the man. Lovely man. Oh, it was you, was it, Alan? Yeah. I forget. Yeah, I listened to the very first one today because it's an album that I love. So I'll give it. Skins debut. Yeah, I haven't listened to it for a long time. Yeah, Cougar, but they should have gone and did more, but they didn't. I'll put that up on. Ooh, that's an interesting one, Nick. Yeah, I think some of them Grand Funk live albums, you get the definitive songs of their catalogue on them live albums. I think they were a lot better live. I mean, their sound. I mean, some of their albums are brilliant. They never put out a duff album really. Even the later ones have got some good rocky tracks on it. Anyway, Charles, I told you I didn't give Depeche Mode a big fat 0. They had their debut album, I just found it too 80s. What I found about them Depeche Mode albums, and you must have heard what I said when I did the video, that their drum machine sometimes is totally out of sync of what else they're doing, and I don't like that. I really don't, because there's some really thing. Yeah, I've listened to the lot, mate. Every single Depeche Mode album. The 80s ones are the worst ones, I'd say, as you saw, and the newer ones are the ones that have got some great tunes on it. I mean, I think their version of John the Revelator is absolutely brilliant. And I've come to the conclusion, there's two things I've come to the conclusion with Depeche Mode. Dave Gahan, if that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, I did, because I think Matt Bellamy is a secret Depeche Mode fan, because I was listening to some when I was listening to some of that. I thought, I've heard that before, and then all of a sudden it twigged. Some of the newer Muse stuff is very much Depeche Mode. No, you've had everything. Settle down, go to sleep. Yeah, I just think Muse is trying to sound like Depeche Mode, and they're not doing a very good job of it. I'll be. Rocky knows his music, yeah. Don't know what you were thinking of when I put Killing Joke on today. Well, what was I listening to the other day when the postman turned up? Just thinking what album I'd got on. Because he says, well, I haven't heard that in yonks. What was I listening to? I think, hang on, let's go back to this list. Yes, I was listening to Rick Wakeman. Yeah, I'll agree with you, Dave. It was. Yes. I was listening to one of Rick Wakeman's 70s albums. Well, I'm sure you can guess which one I was listening to, because I haven't put it on for ages. And you go, oh, I haven't heard this in ages either. Well, the light's holding out because I haven't put no lights on yet. Yeah, I've been enjoy. I'll tell you what I have been enjoy listening to, and that's the Alice Cooper Band. I was listening to one of my favourite ones the other day. No. Wrong, Dave. Got that one wrong. I haven't listened to them yet. Yeah, I was listening to Alice Cooper. I was listening to the Killer album. Absolutely brilliant album that is. Yeah, listening to another. I was listening to the retro ranking that we'll be doing on Ladies' Day. I won't tell you who she is. I'll give a clue though. She's married to a fantastic guitar player of a great prog band. I'm sure you'll get it from that. I think it's mid. It's the most famous one, based on a book. Well, I know a lot of these are based on a book. Yeah, so I was listening to some of her stuff today, this Mystery Lady. There's another clue. Where I'm at Dio's. I listen to these in random as they come on my iPod. And all I'll say is I've listened to 6. I've listened to, although one I listened to today was Lock Up Your Wolves. Yes, it's Journey. Yes. But what I'm going to do with Ronnie James Dio. Oh, spot on, Ralph. Did you look that up or did you know? Yeah, what I'm going to do with Ronnie James Dio, I'm going to do the Elf, do the Rainbow, and then do his solo stuff. For those of you that do like Ronnie James Dio, oh, good man, Ralph. SOT's Hudson Valley Squares picked their favourite Ronnie James Dio albums. And my top 5 was very similar to 2 of the pundits that day. Now I'm doing Pink Floyd. I think we must. I might have to give some love to some of the solo stuff from people from that band. She is, yes. Mob Rules, yeah. You see, I prefer Heaven and Hell to Mob's Rule. I just think there's better songs on it. Yeah, I think we all watch SOT. I think. Well, these days I'm watching SOT or some channel called Joe's Vinyl Universe. Some young lad that talks a lot about prog. He knows his stuff though. Yeah, I might put that. I've got to do Roger Waters stuff and Dave Gilmour's. But I must get hold of this live Pink Floyd album. It's a must. Live at the Fillmore West. Because it's got a live version of Atom Heart Mother on it. I just need to get hold of it. If I can't find it in the UK, I shall be dropping an email to a certain Mr. Pete Pardo. Where can I get it? Yeah, I agree with you, Alan. A lot of people poo-poo that album. I don't. I love it. I think it is getting a bit dark now. Let's put the light on. Put some light on the scene. No, I'm not getting up to sort you out. I can reach the. I can't reach the thing. Oops, there it is. There we go. No, so every time you get up, he thinks he's going to get something. Right, there we go. There we go. Let's take that off if it has dropped off. Right, there we go. Yeah, as I was saying, Alan, yeah, I love it. I mean, let's face it, it's got one of the best guitarists in the world and one of the best singers in the world. A good bass player. What's wrong with it? I think people don't like it when it's not Aussie. I can't remember where I ranked it. I was quite high. Yes, you're right, Joe. Atom Heart Mother is a highly underrated album. And if you want to know where it is in my ranking, I'm doing that. It's on next Wednesday, Joe. Doing the entire Pink Floyd catalogue. Might upset a few people when I put certain albums, but for someone that I've been listening to Pink Floyd for a very long time, I think I'm allowed to put where I think. But as I keep saying to people, I love all the Pink Floyd albums. Love them all. Some of the tracks are a bit hard to get on with. Echoes is a masterpiece. Cannot argue with that. I'm not going to give too much away, but yeah, I totally agree. I think when I do, me and Joe are going to do something at stage. We're going to do our favourite prog tracks. I would be surprised if that's probably going to be on my list somewhere. Echoes. Right, the final cut. This is what I'm going to say, but it's not a good Pink Floyd album. But I do like some of the tracks on it. Yeah, don't worry about it, Joe. You know, it's these that count. How we all hear things. I mean, there's some album. There's one album. I won't say which one that I really do struggle to get round some of the tracks on it, but I'm not going to give it too much away because it'll spoil the show. We don't want that to happen. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Going to do some more Tully sort of thing. I haven't looked at Ian Anderson's live albums, and he's put some pretty good ones out. So, because I was listening to one the other day, and I thought, well, we haven't touched on this yet, and it's a pretty damn good album. What I was listening to. So yeah, what else have we got live? I think I've left that through there, but I think we're gonna do. I haven't done the Whitesnake live stuff yet. I don't think. I can't remember. Oh, so looking forward to my first collaboration with Richard McCook on Saturday. And I think it won't be long. I don't think it'll be long before myself and Joe will be doing something. I hope not, because I'm going to give Joe some plug, because I hope you guys have actually gone and watched and subscribed to his channel, because he is as big, is into as much prog as what I am. And I mean, I don't know how much stick you get, Joe, but when I was your age, not many people were in my age were into prog. Now, when I was your age, it was all hair metal. Lots of Hair and Lacquer and Poison and Cinderella and bands like that. That's when I really started getting into my prog. I think it was really when I really started. I would always like Genesis, and then I got obviously into Marillion when they come out. Because I'm really into Grendel. I love Grendel. And then I just, Yes came out, and I thought, oh, I know they've had some albums. There's one or two of their early tracks like Don't Kill the Whale, Miss Wondrous Story. So that's how I got into prog. And then obviously I like Living in the Past, Jethro Tull. So when you're in your 20s and all your mates are listening to thrash metal and all that, and I'm sitting there listening to some chilled out music, I did get a bit of stick for it. I get a lot of stick for it now, being a prog man. Yeah, I used to work with a guy. I mean, he likes rock music, but he's not into prog. And I tried to convince him it was good, but he couldn't get the understand of wearing long coats and covering LPs. Yeah, you're right, Mick. It's being you understand this, Mick. Being into prog in the 80s was not cool. but I stuck by my guns. And I mean, I think I'm going. I think I'm. It is my favourite sort of music, prog music, without a doubt. I just love it. Even though I like Status Quo, AC/DC, when it comes to my prog, I am. I'm just. I just chill out, man, with me prog. And I'm sure if when you watch. No, I didn't do that as well. Because the rock chicks, if you started was, oh, I'm listening to Gentle Giant, or Renaissance, or listening to Jethro Tull, and you got looked at and frowned at. Anyway, tomorrow night, I am going into a pub that I haven't been in for a very long time because it's reopened. I'm going to the King Billy in Northampton. See what's changed. I just wonder if they fixed that. They will know what I'm talking about. I wonder if they've ever fixed that chair that goes near to where the toilets are. So yeah, we'll go and have a pint in the King Billy tomorrow night, like we used to back in the day when we had more hair. Our stomachs were big that way back there. Yeah, you're right. LP did become ultra cool for a few seconds, and then they brought out Love Beach. Now that's the thing. Which is worse, Love Beach or In the Hot Seat? Covers. When it comes to covers, In the Hot Seat wins it because Love Beach cover is just an advert for 70s porn, really, isn't it? Right, how are we doing on the Bon Jovi? All I've got at the thing is 100%. Oh, okay, right. I'll have a look at that later. What was it on there? Let's have a look. I'm multitasking here. Oh, I'm sure I'll find it. 7-0. Poor John, yeah. And I don't say that taking the mickey out of John Bon Jovi. As I said, he went from being one of the best rock singers to probably one of the worst. I mean, Justin Hawkins made a point. He says no one in his actual band have got the nerve to turn around and say, John, you got to sort something out. Because one thing with John from Bon Jovi, it was a band, but they were hired musicians. They got a wage. They didn't get record sales. They got a wage from John. Always a bizarre setup. Because I know David Bryan, the keyboard player, doesn't really need to do that anymore. I mean, he's wrote shows for Broadway. You know, he's a composer in his own right. He doesn't need the gig. And I noticed that there is a percussionist now at the side of Tico Torres. I mean, I've seen Tico Torres in full flow, and he was absolutely brilliant drummer. But ooh, That's a bit strong for Mary, isn't it? But yeah, she was probably right. I don't think he sounded right. Oh. I mean, I have got all the all the Bon Jovi albums, but I think he hasn't really sounded right since probably the beginning of the 2000s. I mean, that 2020 album is just flat as a pancake, and I've only ever played it 3 times. I mean, I haven't done a full album ranking of John Bon Jovi yet, but that may upset people. No, I mean, the clip I saw of them, the crowd looked not very enthusiastic, some of them. The band, I don't know, they just didn't seem to have that urgency. It is such sad when bands go like that. I mean, okay, Genesis went out and Phil's a poorly man, but at least you could tell he was enjoying himself, and they had altered the sound a lot to suit Phil sitting down. But I don't know if John thinks he can still sing like he did in '86. But his voice sounded very strained. I mean, was it Justin Hawkins from The Darkness said that the thing is, he started to sing bits and then he realised he couldn't get that high and he come back down or just stopped. And he said, and that's the sad part. Playing for a ways rather than playing for... Yeah, I mean, I tell you another thing. Bon Jovi has not really been the same since Richie Sambora left. I know that I've say bands go on without major players, but he's sadly missed. I just don't think they have the same thing. I mean, Phil X is a good guitarist, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he can do some of them licks. I mean, the live version of Wanted, Dead or Alive I saw was horrible. It's probably one of the worst versions of it I have ever heard. And it generally makes me feel sad. Because, you know, I saw him 3 times. And I think the best one I saw him on was on the New Jersey tour. I saw him at Milton Keynes and at the NEC. And the NEC gig was brilliant. The support act was Lita Ford. And it's the album she was promoting was the one that she did that duo with Ozzy. So Can I Close My Eyes Forever? Ozzy didn't come out and sing it. One of the guys in the band sang it, but Lita Ford was pretty good. I haven't done any Lita Ford. I know she's still about. Ex-girlfriend of Tony Iommi as well. So do you think we should do a Bon Jovi album ranking at some stage to remember what John Bon Jovi could do? Because I've got a rough idea what order they'll go in, even now. I know what my favourite album is, without a doubt. Yeah, it'd be good. I think it'll be a bit of fun. because there'll be some of them albums that I just don't like. I think I was very loyal. I brought all the albums hoping to get something pretty decent, and the last 4 or 5 have been very disappointing. But I did like the one that This House Was Not For Sale. The sound on that's pretty good. But the live version of it isn't it? It's just horrible. Horrible, horrible. Because his voice just grips. Got your last album, 2016. I must check her out. Yeah, but my favourite album I've listened to this week is actually the very first Captain Beefheart album. That's a bit doody. Has everyone watched the Jefferson Airplane Surristic Pillow review? And if you're still here, Joe, have you listened to that? If you haven't, go and check it out. It's one of them great albums. It's proggy, but psychedelic. Good evening, Peter. Can I do Pink Fairies? Let's add that to the list. I'm doing the Pretty Maids, so we'll do the Pink Fairies. Pink Fairies. Right, there we go. Yeah, I'm glad you come on, Peter. I can tell you. Yes, I will do Michael Schenker UFO. Although they're not. He was in UFO, but yeah. I might include some of them sometimes when you've got a prominent member of the singer or someone leaves a band and they bring out their debut album at the same time as another band, the band they've left. It's still debut. It's their debut since they left the band. So yeah, I think that'll be a good one to do. Because there's loads I can think of there. We've got Van Halen, David Lee Roth, Fish, Marillion. But next week's we're doing 2 of my favourite bands from the 70s. Obviously, Black Sabbath and Uriah Heap. That's next week's. Iggy Pop, yes. Iggy Pop went into, which book is it? Iggy Pop's gone into that now. So it's got to that stage. Once you get into this book, you're on your way to getting ranked. Because you start your life off on a bit of paper like that. When you tell me them, they get put on my pad here. And as ones are getting put into the black book, I can add them to the list in the red book. I think what we got at the moment, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 bands, stuff that I'm listening to that you've asked for at the moment. And that's what I do. I can't remember the last time I actually listened to one of my favourite albums from Quo or Queen. I seem to be just listening to what you guys want at the moment, which I don't mind because it's nice listening to something different. It's this Venom one I'm looking forward to. I played their very first album. One of my mates, he used to be into Venom in a big way. I actually turned down and he asked me if I'd want to go and see them, and I went, nah. Yeah, Heap and Sabbath are legends. The only version of Black Sabbath I saw. Can I add another one? Of course I can, Alan. What one is it? Far Away. Pen's ready, look. Yeah, I only saw Black Sabbath with Tony Martin. They also had I've done Extreme. It's there somewhere. Dave, when did I do Extreme? Dave will tell you when I did Extreme. I love Extreme. Absolutely stonking band. Yeah, I saw Black Sabbath with Tony Iommi was in the band, of course. Tony Martin, Jeff Nichols. I think Neil Murray was on bass. But Uriah Heap, I've seen 3 or 4 times. Saw them with Pete Goldby, and the others I've seen with Bernie Shaw. But I've seen most of the classic lineup, except Ken Hensley. So I saw them with Lee Kerslake, Trevor Boulder. I've actually met Mick Box, shook his hand. He was at a Whitesnake gig. Well, I have done a God, that far back. Well, I have done a album ranking on Uriah Heap, Mick. So go and check that out. I think you'll like them. Like their album stuff. Who did you see them with Bernie Shaw? I would have loved to see them with John Lawton because I thought he had a great voice. Might do some Uriah Heap live at some stage because they were always brilliant live. I'm just glad I saw that classic. Blimey, that's girl. Oh, now you're talking, Alan. Bit of girls' school. I was watching a video of them on YouTube, and it was very recent. You know, the drummer. Oh dear, poor girl. When she was, it's got teeth missing now. 12th of January 2022, so it was earlier this year. Yeah, if now you'll find it easier to find the shows now because I've put them in. If you go into the playlists, they're all like album rankings, retro ranking. It's all in order now from the latest ones to the early ones, but also soon available. When he's finished it, will be a proper catalogue that Dave's putting together. That will be out, which will be on demand. You can ask and we'll send you one on. So you can find all the shows because there's 500 up there now. 500. So in a year, I have done 500 shows. Wow, that's a lot. Lot of shows. FM, yes. And a certain Mr. Simon Bray is a big fan of FM. I've seen FM 3 times. All supporting bands. Or just use the search icon. Yeah. Another good band. And this is one I've thought of. 500 shows, yeah. Wow. Yeah, I love Black Noise. Tesla. I'm sure you've heard of them, Nick. I've seen them and I can't remember who they supported. Oh dear, I'm adding one of me, another support band I used to go and see, Shy. There we go. Nearly 500 subs yet. And we're not far off 100,000 views either. Up to 78,820 views. Alan Parsons project. Right, all these ones you're coming up, you know they probably won't be done till later in the year, but yeah, Alan Parsons. I haven't listened to any of that stuff for ages. I must have scored. I could have seen them with any of them. Now, looking at that list, I reckon I saw them. Yeah, I've maybe the one that I scrawled on a bit of paper and I couldn't. You know what my writing's like, Dave. But it's definitely gone back on the list now. The Black Crows, good. I'm sure you lot sit at home when you're not thinking, what can we get him to do? Yeah, the Black Crows. I've seen them as God. I forget half of these bands I've seen. Yes, it was David Lee Roth, Tesla supported. Because Def Leppard, I've had Gun. Who else? I can't remember. But I know I've seen Def Leppard's Gun. Now, who supported Def Leppard on the Hysteria tour? God. I've seen Poison. Out of all the hair metal bands, they get a lot of stick, but I think they're one of the better ones. Yeah, I've thought that one, yeah. Because I've got a few. Yeah, I've watched that one, Alan. Yeah, the Cult's sort of on my radar. Paul Weller, yeah. Well, we are doing the Jam. The Jam will probably be coming up the first week of June. Because next week I will start looking at. I've got everything sorted up until the end of May. Each week I've planned. So in a couple of weeks' time, I'll start putting together June's schedule. I'm so organised these days. Always write it in pencil because you just don't know what's going to happen if a brand new album's coming out or someone's sadly passes away. Oh, that's interesting, Ralph. An album of covers. Oh, dear. Oh. Depends what covers. As I always say, when people do put out a covers album, some tracks work and some tracks don't. I might one day put a retro ranking together of my favourite tracks covered by other people, because there are some good ones out there. I mean, I love, as I said earlier, I love the John the Revelator by Depeche Mode. It's absolutely brilliant. I think one of my favourite cover albums, one of them is... it's gone. I only had it on the other day as well. One of them is an album that Pat Benatar done. She did a good one. When is the Eurovision Song Contest? Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do a dedication to Eurovision, definitely. Want the best ones or the worst ones? Well, there's only one or two. One of my favourite ones is a song that was done by a metal band, Blue Oyster Cult. Yeah, they're coming up in June as well. Bit of BOC. Another band that's coming up that's ready to. It's on the list, and it's about Lordy. Yeah. I like that song. Bit of heavy metal at the Eurovision. But that usual plinkety plonk stuff. Apparently, May the 14th, I've got stuff planned. This got planned stuff for that day. Can I slip one in next week? No, we can't, because it's status quo, and I'm not swapping around for status quo. I'll do something on Eurovision the following week. There we go. Yeah, apparently, we've got someone that found on TikTok. Is that how low we're stooping now? Getting people off social media to represent us at Eurovision. I don't think we should go into it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not a song contest, is it? It's a political thing. That'll be interesting. Are Russia taking part by any chance, and the Ukraine? Yeah, I have heard that one as well. That is pretty cool. It's just a great blues song, isn't it? And the way Depeche Mode do it is something, because I think Dave Gahan, have I pronounced that right? Dave Gahan. He sings it great. Yeah, definitely doing Government Mule. That's on the list, along with the Allman Brothers. I found a really good thing on Netflix on the Allman Brothers. I must watch it. Also, for those of you that like Sparks and you have Netflix, the Sparks movie is now on Netflix. So I shall be watching that. Another new album that is coming out. We'll be reviewing. It's out now. And that's the new album by Rammstein called Zeet. I've only listened to one track on it, and I think it's pretty good. But what I've read of reviews, they say it's probably one of their best albums for a long time. So I reckon this year's end of review will be such a tough cookie this year. So many good songs out there. And I found out something else today when I was watching SOT. Judas Priest have been inducted in the back door of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yes, Alan, I did. But there's people like N getting put into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's not rock and roll. Get out. Go and do your own thing. There's nothing rock and roll about the Rock and Roll Awards now. And they've let Judas Priest in a category that they let people that are not in bands. Like the E Street Band have been inducted that way. As pointed out by two esteemed YouTubers, Mr. Pardo and Mr. Popoff, were saying, hold on a minute, Judas Priest, we've got a drummer, a singer, and guitarist. That's a band. I think that the rock and roll don't like heavy metal or anything to do with rock metal, even though it's called the rock and roll things. They should just change it to the pop or music Hall of Fame. Because there's nothing rock and roll about N&M, is there? There's bands that should be in the rock and roll that are not. I mean, Iron Maiden are not. But they have bands in there that have been around 5 minutes and they get put in. What's that about? I mean, the Foo Fighters, they shouldn't even... They've got years to go. Go on. Thin Lizzy are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I can't believe that Thin Lizzy are not in the... Oh, bloody not. I know. Blue Oyster Cult. It's crazy, isn't it? You've got absolute classic bands. Did they ever let Grand Funk Railroad in? Are the Allman Brothers in? I don't know who's in or who's out. But they have let in rap stars and... I know, 2016, a joke. Absolute joke. I think they've let Judas Priest in, and I agree. I think Pete Pardo said this. He said, the fans vote, but no one thinks the fans' votes count. But because they keep coming up every year, they've bunged them in to shut everybody up. But the fans now, Priest are in, they'll start on Iron Maiden. Yeah, I mean, Dolly Parton, she can go into the Country Hall of Fame. Yeah, you're probably right, Peter. I think we should be the people inducting people into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Why don't I start the R.T.O. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Quo don't stand. Nah. Now, our Slade should go in. Sweet should go in. Is Mark Bolan never been put in? I think, I mean, no disrespect, Mick, to you, because you're a fine American type person. I think they forget about where a lot of the music genre comes from. Hello? Rock music was invented here. Definitely heavy metal was invented here, because I remember it. So inducted bands, I think Motley Crue should be in, and all hair metal. Ooh, that's a bit controversial. Yeah, Budgie won't get in, Peter. Budgie are one of the most underrated rock bands in the UK. Oh, there's some hair metal bands I wouldn't let in. Motley Crue, yeah. I think they've made a contribution to the music business. But there are some really naff ones out there. Yeah, thanks, Alan. I thought he'd been put in. I wasn't quite sure. Nice one, Bruce. I don't think the Iron Maiden will go in. Twisted Sister. Yeah, like Twisted Sister. They're on my list. What glam battle? I'll tell you the ones I like. I like Poison. I like Cinderella. I like White Lion. I don't mind Motley Crue. I think a lot of the air metal, they all sound the same. There's nothing unique about them. They make good music, but there's nothing that says stand out there. I mean, do you call Dokken a hair metal band? Oh, Rat, yeah, I've seen Rat. They're all right. But a lot of hair metal was. I don't dislike hair metal. Don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of it all just sounded the same. I mean, Cinderella. It was the vocals. Poison was CC DeVille. You see, when oh, thanks, Archie. I must have seen them twice then. Tesla are a great band. You see, I suppose when Bon Jovi started, they were classed more of hair metal because, I mean, their hair was all over the place. What I didn't like is when bands, through the record companies wanting to sell in America, they made some rock bands of the 70s, like Whitesnake, and made them change their image and that to suit the American market. White Lion are good. I don't mind them. And I don't mind Warren. But there's all these other ones that I can't even remember the names. Got a list of them somewhere, but yeah, I've got a bit of a bugbear with the Quiet Riot because a certain band from Ireland called the Mama's Boys brought out Mama We're All Crazy Now. And which was a far better version than Quiet Riot's. But the Quiet Riot one made them things. Yes. Won't be a minute. Talk amongst yourselves. Come on then. Okay, who voted no? Sympathy vote. No, I don't. I'm not a great lover of grunge either. Have you come back in? I suppose it's a lot to do with my age. I suppose that when hair metal and whatever it was, glam metal, whatever it came out, I was a bit thing. I mean, I love glam rock. I mean, proper glam rock, and I mean Roxy Music, T-Rex, Sweet, Slade, Murder, all that. I like that, but there's only certain bands that I could, from that sort of hair glammy metal, that I can get round. But you know, TerrorVision, what a band! They were a good band. So I'm just making sure I haven't missed anything that you guys have been saying. Yes, I have done Nazareth, Mick. I actually saw Nazareth. Absolutely brilliant live. They were on at the Milton Keynes Bowl with Status Quo. That was a good day out, except the first band, Jason and the Scourgers. I don't think we were ready for them. Then we had a certain, I'll just say his initials, GG. What else who was on that day? Nazareth, Marillion, and Status Quo. Yeah, I've had to listen to some doom metal. I was listening to some with Opeth and that. I just can't get around the screechy vocal. I mean, I appreciate all these bands coming out doing what they do. At least they play instruments. I've got a lot of respect for guys that get in a band, play instruments, and not like these boy bands who I call dance formation bands, where someone pens it and it's all electronically put together. At least with any bands, it doesn't matter what genre of music it is. It doesn't matter if it's pop, rock, metal, glam. They all can pick up instruments and play them. Rocky wants more airtime. Yeah, after you're right. Big Country, I've done. I was lucky enough to see them twice. Yeah, I like Skid Row. I don't like LA Guns. I think they were a poor man's Cinderella. I thought they were. They weren't nothing special. Well, personally, I listened to their stuff and I thought, nah. I've only heard a couple of their stuff, Peter, but yeah, I'm going to give them a listen. Come here. No. No, come on. Don't be a nuisance. Come here. Come here. Oh, come here then. Oh, you're great. There we go. Yeah, Docken's been getting a lot of love. And absolutely right. I think I saw them as well. Another band that I've seen, and that was Fastway, when Eddie Clark left Motorhead. They were good. I think Pete Way was in the band at the time as well. I've seen that. Fast Eddie Clark and Pete Way in the same band. Unbelievable that was. Yeah, I will be doing Atomic Rooster as a proper tribute to Rick Parnell, but I thought as it's my week and it's birthday week, I'd do Spinal Tap because I just adore Spinal Tap. What I like about that, there are 5 actors that can actually play the instruments. I mean, the guy that David Garth, I think, he was in a band. I can't remember which one, but he was actually a proper keyboardist. I know Harry Shearer can play. I might actually watch Spinal Tap this week. Electric Warriors. Ziggy Stardust. That's Spiders of Mars. Is that the Spiders of Mars you're talking about, Archie? Ooh, this dog likes so much fuss. If I stop, he'll there you go. You watch. If I stop fussing him, he'll show off. There you go. All right, yes. Sorry about this, folks. It's like having a baby. Didn't you? You want to get down now? All right then. Go on then. You're not having anything else? It will start barking in about 40 seconds. Well, this will upset people. Born to Run. Born to Run, I think, is a better album. don't know why. Just as better. I like both, but given the choice. Def Leppard Studio 14th of... Oh, when I did my Def Leppards, yeah. Valentine's Day. Talking of Def Leppard, we're doing the live albums tomorrow. It's live albums and a few extras tomorrow. So for those Def Leppard fans, yeah, we're doing the official studio albums and a few honourable mentions tomorrow. So looking forward to that one. So I think Def Leppard a lot better live than they are in the studio. Even with some of their more recent albums, they sound a lot better live, which you will find out tomorrow when I talk about them. Yes, how many people realise that Rick Parnell played Rick Shrimpton in Spinal Tap? And who did... There's a question. In Atomic Rooster, Rick Parnell... You're right, Alan. They have not put out... But the nearest they've gone to it, there are 2 albums. You've got the Iron Man soundtrack and the Maximum Overdrive. Anyway, going back to Atomic Rooster. Now, Rick Parnell took over from another drummer who left to form another band. Does anyone know who that drummer was? X and RG, go and watch the Ignore My Dog. Oh, spot on, Alan. Spot on. Yes, he took over for him. Yeah, Mick Shrimpton was the character he played. He was the one that exploded at the end of the film. And then when they put in another drummer. My favourite character in there, I think his name's Artie Fufkin, Polymer Records. Absolutely brilliant film. I've got a couple of the films that the same guys are in. Best in Show. That's brilliant. That's got Eugene Levy in it, and he wears 2 left shoes. It's so funny when he walks in these shoes. Yeah, so I'll be giving a bit of love next week to Spinal Tap. Well, I'm going to be reviewing the album, but there are some other bits that they've done. I mean, they did an album that Spontaneous Combustion. Yeah, they had there's always that thing about they have a band say they had a bit of a Spinal Tap. All the drummers in Spinal Tap met weird deaths, and there's a bit that I knew that the keyboard player Viv, he died. This is what I've read. He died when he visited Mick Shrimpton's grave. He combusted at the grave of Mick Shrimpton. Crazy Wood of Arthur Brown. Yeah, he was. Have a look at them. Turn it up to 11. Yeah, turn everything up to 11. Yeah, any excuse to do a soundtrack. Another soundtrack will be coming up in the near future. We're going to do The Eighth Day. Breaking Glass on the Eighth Day. That's a song on the album. So it's got some great songs on that. Right. I'm sure one of the other guys in the Atomic Rooster came from Atomic Rooster. Went into came from Crazy World of Arthur Brown. Yes, Stonehenge, influenced by Born Again. Yeah. There's actually a band on YouTube that actually did a cover of Stonehenge. That Stonehenge has got the bit of the Stonehenge. It's got my favourite line from the whole film. Is the Vincent Crane. I think so. I knew that someone was involved with both brands. No, there's only one man that can play Ozzy Osbourne, John Coleshaw. Much better than Johnny Depp. John Coleshaw. Got the voice, looks like him with all that gear on. Yeah, going back to Stonehenge, it's when they're having when they're sitting around talking about what went wrong. And Derek Smalls says, can I just ask one question? Are we doing Stonehenge? Of course we're not doing Stonehenge. My favourite line from the whole film. Yeah, talking of films, I watched the Motley Crue one. Yeah. Not very good. No, I don't know. I don't want to. Johnny Depp as Ozzy Osbourne. Really? Has he really been able to talk like Ozzy? Yeah, I was actually thinking of putting that one in, but I thought, yeah, they are now, absolutely, Peter. Yeah, I thought about putting Horse in, but it will be done very shortly. But I went with Spinal Tap. I just because that's why they say that he got more remembered for playing that than actually being an Atomic Rooster, which I find strange. Because when I watched Spinal Tap for the very first time, I thought, yeah, Lead Clones. I like that track. We will be doing Gary Moore properly, of course. Yeah, it was Kingdom Come only did do that one track, Get It On. But I forget about talking to people that sounded like Led Zeppelin. If you listen to the first Rush album, that sounds very Led Zeppelin too. Yeah, Ozzy's been on some good tracks. We talked about the one he did with Lita Ford. Yeah, I'm going to do Gary Moore album ranking, but I'm also going to tie in with some of the collaborations he's done. But yeah, that's the one I was really thinking of. So we're going back to Gary Moore. We're going to do Gary Moore. Going to do Colosseum 2, which he was involved with. So that'll bring in Colosseum. So Gary Moore is going to get a whole show. I saw Gary Moore 3 or 4 times. Saw him 3 times doing rock and twice doing the blues. I did get to see an absolute legend of blues at the Shepherd's Bush Empire when Albert Collins came out on stage. I think they've got an actual live recording of that on an album. Yeah, love Gary Moore. Oh God, yeah, Rory Gallagher. I actually saw him at the Mildenhall's Blues Festival. Special guests. I've done an album review of BBM. Jack Parnell, wasn't he a band leader? Yeah, I've done BBM as an album review. Yeah, love that album. It's absolutely brilliant. But when I do, it'll come back in for the album ranking because I'm going to put all these sort of collaborations together. Can't think of anyone else that I can want to talk about and bring back in Gary Moore. Absolute genius. I mean, what I like about that BBM album, basically it's Cream, isn't it, without Eric? And Gary does a fine stand-in. Well, that band passed on now. BBM. Gary Moore was such a shock when he passed. Great guitar player. Great guitar player. But to see him play blues and rock is pretty good. One of my favourite guitar players. Listen to his stuff all day. When I do rank Gary Moore, I shall be listening to every single album because he's also done a thing called saying about that when you saw him live, his passion it was oozing off him. It was especially when he played Parisian Walkways. Absolutely brilliant that song is. There's people that try and play it. Nah. I never got to see Phil and Gary do it together, but a friend of mine did. Well, I did see Phil Lynott when he was in Grand Slam. That was a good night. He played in Northampton at the Durngate Theatre. And he came on, he did some Grand Slam stuff, and he said, yes, spot on. Yes, you're right, Peter. He is a big fan of Gary Moore. He influenced a lot of people. Anyway, going back to this story, Phil Lynott, he did this song and he came up to the mic and he says, well, that's some of the stuff, but you haven't really come to listen to that, have you? And we went, no. We went straight into Are You Ready? The place went absolutely mental. So it was obvious that they weren't going to play many Grand Slam songs when you'd only got the one album, but the rest of it was just pure Lizzie classics. Run for Cover, yeah. Glenn Hughes is on fire on that album. Absolutely. One of the albums is really on fire with it. Run for Cover. He did put, although he had all them, he had health issues and drugs, he put some stunning performances into Glenn Hughes in that period on the Seventh Star, the Phenomena album, and Run for Cover. 3 great albums with Glenn Hughes singing. Big fan of Glenn Hughes, even now. Yeah, one of my favourite song albums is Victims of the Future as well. That's a good one. It's like when we was when we did that retro ranking Thin Lizzy songs. Well, people, I remember having an argument with someone in a pub over the song Still in Love with You. Phenomena. Well, there's a show there. Phenomena was like a super group put together by Mel Galley's brother Tom. Featured lots of people. People from Val Wow, Aha played on it. Mel Galley's on it. Yeah, go and check. I don't know if you can still get the albums, but I have done a show on them, on Phenomena. One of the first shows I ever did. There's 5 albums and it features all people from the rock world. I mean, on 3 you've got Max Bacon's on it. Who else sings on it? I can't remember. John Wetton was involved at some stage. I can't think of the singer that he sang with. He sang with Black Sabbath. He died. I can't think of his name. Ooh, that's on the tip of my tongue. He was a good singer as well. Yeah, go and check out Phenomena. Ray Gillan, that's it. Thanks, Alan. Great singer. I haven't done Trapeze yet, Mick, but I have listened to the albums. And guess what? They're in that book. Yeah, Trapeze will be coming up during the summer. Yeah, there's lots of little short ones in there. Yes, I've done Asia. Mr. Keogh's on a comfort break at the moment. Yeah, they're all together. They're not. I've just done the whole catalogue, and there's one on live albums as well, which we done not so long ago. But that's my own collection because there's so many live albums. Yeah, I remember when the first Asia album come out. GTR, yeah, but I'm going to revisit that because there's a live album that's been remixed. So yeah, there's a show on GTR, and that show has also got a review on the album that was not made, but the tracks are on YouTube. Yeah, there's loads of stuff like that. Yeah, Asia. That first album was absolutely, it sold so much, and they never really. I mean, I love Asia, but I don't think they ever really sold as that first album. They never really hit them heights again. Although the loyal fans will say different. I mean, I love it because it had John Wetton in, and I love John Wetton, and I like John Payne. I thought he was a terrific singer, and I like both incarnations of Asia, without a doubt. I've got no hesitations. They were a little bit different with John Payne, but the music was good. Absolutely stunning stuff. Yeah, Steve Hackett's out there as well, Alan. So live albums and studio. The only members of Genesis I haven't done are Mike and the Mechanics and Tony Banks. I haven't done Tony Banks yet, but because he's done quite a few albums as well. Yeah, I've got plenty to go on with at the moment, so I don't think I'll be adding anything. I don't think I'll run out. I don't think we'll ever run out of bands to rank or show ideas or classic albums. I've noticed one thing listening to the two Fanny albums I've listened to. Tell that Ann Wilson was influenced. And talking of Ann Wilson, her new album's out as well. So that's another album we'll be reviewing very shortly. I saw it on Spotify today, and I've added it into my little wish list type thing. But my mission is to find this Pink Floyd album. Palace I've heard of, but Scores Org, no. There's one band I've never heard of. I'll write that down so we can have a look at that. Scores Org. Yeah, I've heard of Palace. The Go-Go's. Yeah, I'm going to do a retro ranking on the Go-Go's. I'm surprised they're allowed to put the name Fanny on the up. Todd, yeah, it is on a list. It is on a list. I've got a list as long as your arm of stuff to do. All these ones you're coming up with, they will get done. But the list is so huge now. So if you think I've forgotten, I don't forget. Dave Edmunds, yes, Dave Edmunds is doing. I'm doing a retro ranking on both of them. Because it's easier to do do some songs and then go back and do the albums at another stage. Yeah, no problem. Umbrage. As I said earlier before you come on, you know, I spend most of my life listening to music that you guys have asked for. But I never forget what you've asked for. I always make a note, and I have a system where once things done, oh, he's come back. Yeah, so everything does get done. I mean, I think some of the ones I've done the ones this week. I think Grand Funk Railroad was asked for a long time ago by someone. 2 or 3 of you asked for that one. What's my audio equipment like? There's my mic. That's all I've got. And I've got obviously Spotify, which is linked to my She That Can't Be Named. I have got 2. I've got a Bose iPod station, and I've got a Griffin one that sits here. And I haven't had a record player for a long time, but that's just a little one. And I've got to get some speakers. It plays okay through my Bose at the moment, but it's also a USB one. So some of my albums that I can play now. Yeah, I've got lots of 12 inches that I can't play. So yeah, I'm gonna sort that out. Several iPods. I got rid of all my CDs. They were just taking up too much space. And I've still got all the albums as well. But I must admit, most of my record collection now is on iPod, purely because it's there for easy. But I'm starting to, if I'm going to buy albums now, it's going to be old classics that I haven't heard for a long time, like this little bit beauty up here. Managed to get 2 now. That's my sort of my collection now. I'm starting to collect Dr. Feelgood albums. Yeah, it still takes up 4 shelves. Yeah, it still takes up soon. I haven't got rid of them, but I want to start more my buying singles, old singles. Yeah, I had lots and lots, but they still take up a lot of room. My albums. I mean, I've got the entire Queen collection on album. Got all the Fish Marillion on album. I've got all the 12-inch singles of Marillion with Fish. As you might see some up there next week. Because next week I'm going to put 6 of my favourite sort of bands. Something from 6 of my favourite 6 bands. Not as bad as John Peel Shed, no. But on my iPod, I've got 3 160 gig iPods. That's how big my collection is. I just love it now. But when I used to go, when we could go on holiday, and I haven't been on holiday for a long time, I used to be able to sit on the beach and have my whole record collection with me. But I've now really got back into the idea of buying vinyl. But as I said, it'll be, I won't buy anything new vinyl. It'll be old albums going around record fairs and antiques and charity shops. So that's where I picked that one up at, a charity shop for 50p. And that's down by the jetty. 50 pence I paid for that. I don't have the heart to tell these people they're selling absolute diamonds. Rocky doesn't like long gigs. He doesn't like anything that I'm not rubbing his belly or paying attention to him. He's like it with when anyone comes round, he plays up. He can be very naughty, can't you? The Motors, yes, but did they do Airport? Or was that City Boy? That's another good band. I'm sure that was it Motors that did Airport. Yay. Yeah. I think I had that on single once. I've lost it. I'm trying to find it again. I mean, I can listen to it. Because it's on Spotify, so it's not. But I like sort of things from my childhood. I really want to get older stuff from my childhood again. $89. 11%. So there's more than one that said he should carry on. Disgraceful. Bob Dylan. The jury's out with Bob Dylan. I like some and I don't like some of them either. I don't like his voice, to be quite honest. He sounds like a Hoover. But he did write some phenomenal songs. And if you've watched some of my shows, when someone covers a Bob Dylan song, 9 times out of 10, the cover is better than the original. It's like Masters, was it Masters of War? Roger Taylor's version is far superior. Well, I did like him when he was in the Travelling Wilburys. But the chances of you actually having a full ranking of Bob Dylan, it's not. Unless someone really wants me to do it, I will sit down and listen to them. But you're more likely to get, there's the odd album, classic album that I like, or a retro. There are songs by Bob Dylan I like more than I do the albums. You can't like them all. You see, I'm over the generation, you know, the 60s was Bob Dylan. For me, it's Bruce Springsteen. He's like my Dylan. So, you know, I think it depends when he was born. I can tolerate Dylan. No, I don't think I'll be doing that. Yeah, totally agree with you there, Joey. Steel Panther, there's a band from the past. No, with Bob Dylan, he's more of a sounds like a blooming Hoover. Yeah, there's a couple of albums I like by him, and I like some of the songs, but I may struggle to put 10 together. 39 albums now. Not for me. Probably upset people, but there you go. You all can't like Bob Dylan. See, my thing is, when I do some of these album rankings, if I don't put the popular album as my number one, people go, well, why it's the best thing? No, it's not. Just because it was critically acclaimed doesn't mean it's the best thing. You see, normally albums like that are done. Bands come out with do a phenomenal album. Okay, let's take Yes. Hello, we've got a new person, Wade Capona. Welcome to the show. Let's take Yes. People say, I like Yes, and they've got one album, 90125. Do I think it's a good album? Compared to Close to the Edge and Relayer, no. It's okay, but I wouldn't say it's my favourite. And that's when I ranked it. I think it was to look towards the bottom. Who's Slaughter of Mark Slaughter? That's personal choice, mate. I would say it's a great album, but when I put it, that people go, well, it's the best thing since sliced bread. It's like our friend Wally of the Week when I did the Queen, saying about how fantastic the Works is. How can you put the Works up against Night of the Opera, Day of the Races, Sheer Heart Attack? You can't. Yeah, I think 901. Yeah, totally get that, Nick, because I think there's albums that then your favourite because it's a personal thing. You will discover that with my Pink Floyd. Because my number one, I'm not going to say it because I'll just spoil it, but my number one is number one for a personal reason. And that's purely it. I think if you've got a special connection, I think some people that comment, you know, you get people that comment that don't put anything back. Well, it's just the one-off comment. There's certain albums that mean more to me. Yeah, I want him to, Charles. Oh, I mean, my Pink Floyd. It's not going to be drastic, but my number one's number one for thing. Yeah, I mean, okay, let's think Queen, Sheer Heart Attack. That's my favourite album. Because one of the first Queen albums I remember watching Killer Queen on Top of the Pops, Freddie in black lacquer and his furry black thing. Things like that. That's what makes them my favourite albums. Trevor Horn, yeah. A great producer. What I took with, yes, the Fly, what was it? The Fly From Here album. When he did the Revisited. Now, I always have a little bit of oovy about that. Oh, do I really? But when Trevor Horn sang on that and remixed it, it's brilliant. And Drama. I was just going to say that, Ralph. I love Drama. That is a great album. I did get some slating. I put that up some guy, not one of the regulars, he just a random bloke. He couldn't understand why I put a certain Drama above another album. You know. I love Drama. Especially the first track. Machine-ish Sire. That I love all that. But you can't please everybody, and I think people. I think it's like anything in today. If you don't like what people think that you should like, or you disagree with them, you're wrong. I mean, that's what about like you. That good album. That's what I like about the channel and you guys. We all like the same band, but we like them in different orders. And you know, you always put for me, and I always give you a tip because you know it's your choice. Great. The thing is, we all like the same music. There should be one called Barking Dogs. Barking Dachshunds. He's all right now because I'm not ignoring him. Come here. I find, yeah, I mean, some of the later, yes. Fragile, yeah, great album. What's your favourite then? Is it? What's your favourite Yes album? You don't like Seamus by Pink Floyd, do you? Because you bark and howl. Come here. Come on. Come here. Ye gods, I've just realised we've been going for 2 hours and 18 minutes. My God, this has been a long one. And I think for that reason, I am, and Rocky is starting to go absolutely bananas. I think we're going to call it a night, guys. So don't forget, we're not doing it next Thursday. We're doing it next Saturday. Bring your beer. And have a great week. Don't forget Def Leppard tomorrow and the new album by Thunder, Dolmine, Dolphin. Thanks for staying for so long. It's amazing how time flies when you're having fun. Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Take care, and I will see you all soon.